Hello, today I'm in Atherstone Cemetery and I've been an absolute plonker and forgotten to bring my selfie stick. Anyway, let's have a look around. So on the right now you can see the position of the old cemetery lodge, which is now a bungalow. And as we come into the cemetery, immediately you can see the memorial to the two World Wars. A very prominent position right at the front of the cemetery here, with a lot of wreaths that have probably been there since November, at a guess, and they're looking a bit sorry for themselves, some of those. Interesting, look, there's a lady's name here. I wonder what she was doing. Winifred V. Sweet. I might look her up. It's very unusual to see a lady's name on a war memorial. So there we go. Let's head over that way. So I learnt that there's a priory that was in Atherstone, and when it closed down, the bodies of the nuns that were buried there were moved to this cemetery. It has got railings round it, but I can see they've removed a part, and I'm really grateful for that because I wanted to take a photo to update the one that's on Find a Grave. It is quite old and a bit crooked, so I'll see if I can get a better shot, especially for somebody who has requested a particular nun from that memorial who hasn't got a photograph on it, and I don't know why, so we'll see if her name is there. So looking at that space there, I imagine that their bodies are in the whole of that area. The ground is parched. So this cross says Pax at the top, and then of your charity, pray for the repose of the soul of Francis Benedict Bunce, chaplain, 1934 to 1948, I think that says. So he has the position at the front. And now, with great respect, and only because people are looking at this online and may want to see, I am going to make my way over to the memorial for the nuns. And I'm going along the edges to be sure that I'm not walking over any graves. This could do with a clean-up, couldn't it? It says, of your charity, pray for the repose of the souls of the following Benedictine nuns of Atherstone, transferred here from St. Scholastica's Priory, August 1967. They rest in peace. And then on each line is the name of a different nun. Right, well, I have added the photographs to Find a Grave for the nun who was requested. Let's have a little meander and see what we can see. There's a fair bit of traffic noise here. I bet it was lovely before a busy main road like the A5 came through the middle of Atherstone. So one of the things I need to do is to get a feel for where the numbering system is. Let's have a look at the backs of some of these graves and see if we can see a number. Nothing on that one. Nothing on that one either. Oh, I've just seen a grave here which has lots of pebbles on it, and it says on this side, also to their baby son Thomas. So I wonder whether the pebbles were tributes to him and people bring them here. Henry Francis Seckington and his beloved wife Edith and their little son. So we have a little retreat here in the middle with a couple of benches, which is lovely if you wanted to sit quietly. There's another set of benches by the tree there. And that's to the rear of the war memorial. So I'm pretty much in the centre of the centre line of the cemetery here, I think. It's lovely. There's a lot of very nice things about this cemetery. It's just a shame about the blooming A5. Atherstone has two claims to fame. One is the Priory and the other is the hat factory. It was a very busy centre of hat making, and when you look at the census, almost everyone seemed to have worked at the hat factory at some point. Goodness me, there's a big dip there. So as I'm finding is very common in this area, there are allotments right next to the cemetery. So here we have a beautiful angel. Let's go up and look at her. She is rather beautiful. Look at that blue sky behind her. She couldn't be framed better. I am still trying to see some sort of plot numbering. He was Royal Signals, who died aged 19 in 1945. So here we have a row of Commonwealth War Graves memorials, and they are all beautifully kept. But again, the flowers look like they've been here since November. And we have F.J. Gilbert, who was only 19 when he died. W.V. Sweet. Ah, this is the one that I saw earlier. So she was in the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, the WAFs, and she was 21. I wonder what happened to her. So she died on the 20th of August 1942, and it says at the bottom, worthy of everlasting remembrance. So we know she was a WAF now. Now we've got G.A. Green of the Royal Air Force. That's my maiden name. He was 28. J.T. Goodwin, Royal Marines, HMS Malaya, age 24. A Polish grave, Polish Forces, W. Lehman. And W.F. Hammonds, Air Mechanic Second Class, who died aged 18, the youngest jet, in 1946. Treasured memories of our dear son, so dearly loved, so sadly missed. And next to these two are the original stones before the Commonwealth War Graves ones were installed, which is lovely to see. Right, let's head this way a little. This is the grave of James Cox, who was killed at Baddesley Colliery on October the 28th, 1932. He was 53. And his wife is also buried here. She died 10 years later, in 1942. There were so many colliery accidents in this area, You quite often see their graves. This is a particularly beautiful one. This is the newer part of the cemetery, and even here I haven't managed to find any numbers. So the only way to map things is to get in touch with the council or to try to use the occasional numbered grave to identify the others from. The other problem I'm coming across here is that they're not putting any lettering on. I know there's a section called E, which I suspect is that part, and a section called O, which I suspect is the old part. I wonder if there's anybody doing a regular attempt at doing this cemetery, because it really hasn't got very many graves mapped as yet. Well, at least I've been able to come and give you a flavour of this lovely graveyard. Well, if you're considering volunteering for Find a Grave, I could certainly recommend this as a place to start. There's a lot of graves here which haven't been added yet, and 4 photo requests which I just can't manage to fulfil today. So I hope there's somebody watching this video that thinks I could do that. It's really a very fulfilling thing, helping find a grave. I can highly recommend it. You go down all sorts of rabbit holes if you're the sort of person like me who likes to research. But to adopt a local cemetery of this quality, with so much that you could find out about it. Colliery accidents, hat makers. I love all those unexpected stories that come out of the woodwork when you start researching the names. People who perhaps don't have any direct descendants and their stories have been lost. This is quite a busy graveyard. There are people turning up with their cars fairly frequently. This one's going to be gone soon. There's a nice piece of carving here. I'm slightly nervous about walking across the grass here because there's so many dips. Goodness me, this sandstone's very worn. Look at this one. And we're coming up to the rear of the old lodge site. Apparently, Alfred Slaney, the lodge keeper, was very fond of wildlife, and he encouraged blue tits in his hedges and the ivy around the lodge. And this site was very much known for all these blue tits. When his son took over, he carried on that tradition of encouraging the birds. And here's another First World War memorial. C.H.L. Beatty, DSO. He had a DSO award, a major. Died on the 17th of May 1917, aged 47. So once again, I'm in front of the War Memorial, remembering Winifred Sweet, the WAF who died in the Second World War. I'm going to find out more about her when I get home. And thank you for joining me here. If you want to volunteer for Find a Grave and you live near Atherstone, Why don't you give it a try?